We've all been through craziness. And I mean, as much as I learned from 2020, I'm ready for 2020 to straight go to hell and bring on 2021. If we continuously use the prism of red or blue to justify our actions, our inactions, our natural bias, or our own opinions, instead of using the premise of right or wrong, we are all screwed. Welcome to the Hour Number Podcast, all things entrepreneurship, people who just take life and get square in the ass. This is season 3.0. We're doing things a little different. And this year it's all about motivation. We want to tell more stories about people who are taking big leaps, big jumps. In fact, you're both wearing a face jump. I love it. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
My name is Brandon Kinnie. That's Smith. BK, a lot of people call me, but Brandon Kinnie it is.
Awesome.
Kentrill Smith, better known as PJ Smith, but yeah.
Hey, you guys are about to take some big changes, some big leaps, some big jumps. And I mean, we met a little while ago. Kind of told me this idea. I'm like, I love this. Oh my God, I love this. And it literally is like when you feel there's a calling, there's a thing to do. It takes a lot of courage. And we talked about back when I first started that I gave up. I went from making a lot of money to paying myself $31K a year working in a retail store, and everybody said I was nuts. I'm like, well, last time I checked, greatness doesn't come out of places of complacency. So I want to hear your guys' story. I want to hear what's brought you to what you're going to do and what the big plan is.
Absolutely. Well, I would say, so this past year, going into 2020, I surrendered my life to Christ around two years ago. Awesome. And I have felt a calling on my heart to get into ministry, but I was scared to make that jump because I just didn't think that was it for me. I felt, I was placing myself in this corner of like, no, I've done too much wrong. God, there's no way you want me to do this. Yeah. So going into 2020, God put faith jump on my heart. And I didn't understand why. I didn't understand what it was, but he continued to put it on my heart. Well, going into, I believe it was January 3rd, my mom sent me a text message of a guy jumping from one side of a cliff to another side of a cliff. And it was that. I said, that's a faith jump. And for me, I felt like that was the Lord telling me, like, I do want you to get into ministry. Mm-hmm. And I want you to do something that will be so powerful and so innovative in the kingdom. And I mean, I owned apparel stores before, online apparel stores. But like this was the ultimate thing, like where I'm like, okay, how can I get the word of God out to more people? And I'm like, through shirts, through apparel. And he gave me faith jump, and I literally ran from there with that. And it's been a year now, February 10th. Mm-hmm. So God has been blessing it, and it's just moving it in waves. But then that also introduces to Alliance. Mm-hmm. And more so, once I understood my calling, I went into church planting at my church. And there was that jump. That was that leap. I said, okay, this is it. So I started coaching my son's team. I never wanted to coach ever. I never wanted to train kids. It was never anything that I aspired to do. Yeah. It was always going to the NFL, make a lot of money, or figure out a way to make a lot of money. So, you know what I mean? So I could take care of people and do those type of things. So as I started coaching my son's team, I was dealing with different kids from West Omaha, North Omaha, which was great because that's kingdom building. I felt seeing different color, different races and things like that. So one kid named Josiah, I was pouring into one day because his mom told me he got in trouble at school. And I was pouring into him at practice, and I'm running him, and I'm telling him you can't do that. And he starts crying. And I get choked up, while trying to be the mean coach. But I'm like, oh, my goodness, what's going on? Why am I crying right now? So I get home, and I was talking to a good friend of mine who's going to be helping out with this too as well, Cruz Barrett. And I talked to him, and I said, man, I never thought I would get this much fulfillment out of doing this. Mm-hmm. And he did this in Minnesota with his wife a couple years ago. Yeah. And we just started talking, and I'm like, and the Holy Spirit hit me there like, this is what I want you to do. Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is how you affect generational change. I want you to get into this full time, full go. And I had just lost my job in August. I was laid off from a company called Zenith. Yeah. And I heard him tell me that you can't work with what I'm about to do with you. Mm-hmm. In September, I got the vision, and I've literally been running after it ever since. That same day, he gave me Alliance Sports Training as the name, as Alliance together to bring Omaha together, north, south, east, west together, these kids training and changing. So it's been awesome. I've been seeing him work in every every facet of this dream and this vision, and I know it's from him.
Yeah.
So those days where you get weary, it's like, no, I never wanted to do this, I know it's you telling me to do it. So it's just following that and standing on the promise.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
The thing about it is I reached out to BK, what was it? Well, we always been close since we got done playing. And I became the head coach at Concordia, all right? He was the first person I called. Hey, man.
And this was what, 2017? When was it? Was it 16?
2016. Called him, right? But in that time, before I got the job, we was already talking. I already talked to him about doing a gym at some stage.
Yeah.
Right?
I was like 15, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had everything lined up with a group of guys, right?
Yeah.
And it just wasn't the right time. And thank God I didn't do that because I'd have been in a bad hole right now. You know what I mean? And so it's just cool how God just ordained all this stuff to happen, orchestrated all this. Because I called him a coach. The next thing you know, he's like, I couldn't do it. I was like, shoot, this is the dude I wanted, But, and then, we both went our ways, but we always stayed in contact.
Always.
Right?
Always.
We always get together and he'll just pour life into me, And that's why I'm so thankful for this dude here, man. Because, one of my best friends right there. Just a true, when it's talking about a man on fire, that's him right there. Man. Just trust this, trust the process, man. And so just see this whole thing coming together, man. He asked me to be a part of it. I'm like, bet. It's a no-brainer, because I always wanted to do something like that. I feel like that was my calling too. I love coaching. He loves coaching. And he was at my house yesterday. He put his video out, and he was just pouring life into the kids and talking about the play. I was like, dude, this is why I wanted you to coach me.
Man, it's awesome, man.
Well, that's all. I mean, it's funny. We met a couple months ago, and it's crazy. We end up knowing a lot of the same people. We're in the same church, but it was about a year ago, maybe 6 months, maybe longer than that, huh?
Yeah.
But then Nick and I had talked about we want to do something, a gym towards North Omaha. We want to do something, and so we even looked at some buildings, and these were the worst buildings on the planet. And the same building you guys were looking at, we actually looked at, and somebody else was already talking to him. This is probably 6 months ago, and at the same. But we were looking, and he's like, "Why?" I'm like, I love sports. I love bodybuilding. I love lifting. It's the place you can go change yourself if you want to change. I believe look good, feel good's an expression for a reason. And people get a lot of anger out. You can get a lot of anxiety out. I like the gym. The weights don't care what color you are. They don't care what church you go to. They don't care. Their weight is weight, and you can go in there and challenge yourself as much with the blessings the Lord gave you, to your extent. You just never found the right spot. And then Nick and I were still pretty obsessed with it, and we had talked about it. And then you come in the store. We got this idea. I'm like, well, okay. All right. They said, you want to make God laugh, tell him your plan. I'm like, all right, I'm listening. And that's so where are we at with the planning stages? Like where's the plan at right now? I know you guys we've had some ups and downs, trying to figure it all out.
So it's just now figuring out the building situation. Everything is approved through the bank. Now it's just raising money to have the down payment. So we're looking at about $150,000 that we'll need down. Now this is again saying that this is the building. It's on 90th and Blondo. But we believe that God, is orchestrating this for this to happen. And if it doesn't in that building, that's fine. But the dream isn't stopping. What we're getting ready to do now is just launch it at a local park, April 13th.
Sweet.
So we'll be able to do that. You can sign up on alliancesportstraining.com. So you'll be able to do that. Website will be done April 5th. Okay. So we'll have that together. But then we're targeting, I want to say to be Benson Park. So that's what I'm looking at now. Just to make sure everything's locked down. We'll do 3 days a week, Tuesday through Thursday, 3 different sessions, 4:30 to 5:30. We'll have 3rd through 5th grade. Sure. So 5:30 to 6:30, 6th through 8th grade, and then 6:30 to 7:30, freshman through senior year. Right. So, and then we'll ride it out and get after it, man. Yeah. And I felt, it was funny, I was telling him this yesterday. I kept telling people everything is happening, it's going, but I felt I was being bougie, and God probably did too, because I was saying, no, I want the building first. I'm not moving. I'm not doing anything until I get the building. And then I'll start getting people reaching out to me, like my coaches, not my coaches, I'm sorry, my players' parents, like, hey, the weather's great. Kids been inside. Are we going to start doing something? And I'm like, yeah, give me a second, soon. Then I start getting people from different areas reaching out to me, and I'm like, okay, God. I got it. And it's understanding to be faithful with what I have now, to understand that fruitfulness will follow, if I'm faithful with that. So I understood it, and now it's like following the process and like knowing like this is what you're telling me. I'm being obedient to what you want from me. So
and you're building a community before it gets there.
Right.
I mean, so when you get the building, it's
exactly.
That's efficient. It's no different than church. You know, church got to rent spots for several years. I've been part of a lot of new churches, and all of a sudden when we get the building, we have arrived. We're here. We've got our door. You know, and just in the appreciation for it, those changes too. You know, that's huge. So are you guys are structured as a nonprofit, correct? Am I wrong on that, or what's the?
So it's LLC, as well, but it's a nonprofit behind. So Alliance Sports Training is LLC, and then the Alliance Life Skills is the nonprofit side of it. Okay. So me being a church planter, this was a hard decision at one point in time because once I started feeling this, I'm like, well, I don't want to plant a church, I guess, if it looks like a church. I want to do this. This will be my ministry.
Yeah.
And my pastor now, Myron Pierce down at Mission Church, it was a conversation we had. And I said, dude, I don't know what this looks like now. I feel like I got this vision to do this. And he said, dude, you can wear different hats. You don't have to do that. And it hit me to where like, this can be the church. Yeah. This is church. We do church every day. But it's understanding that it doesn't have to look like what it looks like on Sunday.
Right. Exactly.
We can get together. We can congregate. We can open the Bible and talk life and fellowship together. And that's it. And God said, I will build my church. Right. Like he'll do that. So I don't have to worry about trying to get a keyboard player, a drummer. He'll do all of that. I just have to be obedient to what he's asking. Yeah. So it'll eventually organically turn into that. But to start, it'll be a sports training facility that will meet on Thursdays, and it'll be like a small group, intimate setting of the Bible study.
Yeah.
And we'll see what the Lord does with that.
That's amazing.
Yeah, 100%.
I love that.
And it looks so different. It's innovative, and kids need that.
Right.
Yes.
Because,
you're going to keep them involved.
Yes.
That's why you got youth night on Wednesday nights too
as well.
And then church on Thursdays.
Yeah.
You know, so it'll be real.
But that's it. And they said your ministry doesn't have to be in a church building.
Right.
And that's, I didn't realize that for years. I mean,
me too.
With this podcast and all the staff and the businesses we got, and with somebody else who brought it up to me, they go, that's your ministry. I'm like, you were being what you needed at that age that you wish God had placed somebody in your life. Because I didn't have the greatest relationship at the time with the adult figures when I was 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22 and wanted to be a business owner, and I just didn't have anything, and I was too proud and stupid. I became a college ball, and
we're so ignorant. You just didn't know.
I was just ignorant. I was ignorant and egotistical. It's a dangerous combination. So if you're a 22-year-old out there, there's a high probability if you don't have both, you've got at least one. And then we just started. That's what we did. The podcast. It was just try to speak into people, and it's funny. And a lot of our employees, a lot of our staff, a lot of my employees become franchise owners, they become business owners, and I help them do that. And they're like, "Why are you the way you are?" And then I'm like, "Well, I'm a Christian. Like, this is my faith. This is who I am. This is what I mean." I go, "I'm not here on my own accord. I'm not that smart. I don't care. Humility is one of my best traits. Top trait. I'm not lacking in self-confidence. But I said I'm not here on my own accord. I'm here for somebody else has given me the ability and the opportunities, and I took advantage of it. And and I just got to give it back. This is me giving back. I was homeless at one point in time and sleeping in my car. And to be where I'm at now, that's not lost upon me. Right. I mean, I could have gone a very different direction. And the same with her. She's 17 years recovered now. We both. The fact that we're sitting here, I think that's why people come out to us too, because they realize that I have done screwed up everything possible. I don't bring any judgment to the game at all. I don't. I'm like, just tell me I did this. I'm like, oh, I did way worse than that. You're good. So,
and those are the miracles. And that's in the Bible that speaks about. That's what we're in those times. That's what was saving people at the time. Miracles, watching things. So you guys are absolutely that, 100%.
When you were talking earlier and you were saying that you didn't think you had done too much in your past that you couldn't go into ministry, I feel like the world needs that. The world needs the broken people that have turned their lives around, because if you are only seeing the cookie cutters and the people that have done the straight line their whole life, you can't relate. I can't relate to that. I need somebody who is just as screwed up as me that I can be like, oh, okay, they can do it. I can do this. So that's what I want to be.
The hope and the light in the darkness. The hope and light in the darkness, and that's just it. I mean, and you can live through life experiences. Use what you had as a testimony to other people. It's so powerful. And I remember we had at one point we were working with some youth group. 8th grade, what was that?
Yeah.
In 8th grade, man. Good God. These kids got questions. Yeah. But anyways, and we had sat back, and these kids are like, they think they're bad. It's all or nothing. So we were all finding our way.
Right.
I said, you're human beings. It's okay. Like this. If you walk around with good intentions for all the people you meet, I go, that's God putting that on your heart. And understand, like, I go, you may have kids in your class, and this I love about the youth thing is like, and I had to explain to these kids, they're like, I just really don't like this kid Johnny. He's he's trying to beat me up all the time. I go, he's a child of God. Yeah. You got to find a way to put love on him because there's God in him. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you put that, I go, someday you're gonna be married, and you're gonna look at your spouse. This has never happened to me. And be like, man, I can't stand him. I can't stand her. Like they're the way they choose, driving me nuts. You live with somebody for that long. You are an angel, but I said sometimes you got to look at God in her or in him, and you got to love on them. And that's just with all people. And I got employees that have people be like, why do you keep giving them the job? Why do you keep doing this? They're just like, oh, there's something. Yeah. There's talent there. God's got a purpose for them. And I go, and if somebody doesn't give them a chance, nobody's gonna give them a chance. Yeah. And since I was that kid. Yeah. I was that kid. Like, the chances I got the opportunities only by blessing of God. It wasn't on my own. It wasn't on my own accord. I can tell you that. And Chad remembers me. Man, I was a hot mess. We go back to 6th grade.
No comment.
No, 6 years old. 6 years old. Like, so we were 6 years old. Like, wow. 34 years.
Earmuffs, Brittany. I'm just kidding. You know.
I know.
I know.
Like, I think for me, like, I have such a soft spot for the broken. So, like, when we have people coming to ask, like, can I do community service or can I have a job? And they're either just getting out of rehab or they're going through drug court, and they're so, like, I'm so sorry that you have to deal with. No, like, I am proud of you. Like, we are here. Absolutely. Like, everybody needs that backing, I guess, to make that step. Because if everybody's telling you can't do it, or you're worthless, or all this stuff, like, that's when people fail. So, like, we just need to turn more of that negative into positive.
And we had this former Husker player that had gone to prison and got out and wrote us a letter. And I'll leave it at that. I'll leave their anonymity to themselves. But can I have a job for me to get out of a federal work camp? I need a job. I'm like, hired. And then phenomenal worker. Always showed up. Great job. And all this, and they would, and they got to do their job. I get it, but it was every day. And then he was there the day they called me again, and I let a lady have it. I was like, ma'am, if he's going to show up to work, trust me, I'm going to tell you, because that means I have to work. And when I go, he's doing a great job, don't make it a pain in the ass to hire somebody. I get you got to do a job. And I think he saw that somebody defended him. That somebody stood up, and I go, that was switch. Yeah. And now he's doing well. He lives back in Lincoln. He's doing his thing, and that's happened. We have people who were on probation court, who've been on drug court, and they're like, hey, can I have a job? I'm like, heck yeah, you ready to work? Let's do it. And that's just it. And they go, why? Because somebody's got to give you a chance. Yeah. Nobody's beyond redemption. No. I mean, that's a core value of me as a person, as my faith, that no one's beyond redemption. And how nasty shit you did, like, you have redemption, and that's the thing. And not just in church, not just in the book we read, but actually in real life, other people putting that on other people. It's powerful. It's changing. And we do a lot with the 18, 19, 20 to 25-year-olds. I said, and I love it because these kids are already messed up. I'm like, that's me. I see me, and I go, but at the same point, what you guys are doing with the youth. God, I needed that, man. I needed
starting
that.
It young.
It was starting it young. And I grew up in a small enough town that there was community ass whooping. Chad's mom, Chad's mom beat me as much as my own mom. And I had to come to Mama Sue. I mean, honestly, and I said the story, and she came to our podcast in Pittsburgh. His mom was the first baller entrepreneur I ever met.
Really?
Yeah, I loved it, man. So, like, my parents would try to get rid of me for a weekend. And then, so they'd let his mom borrow the minivan. And then we were going on to Holiday Inn Expresses all the way around the Midwest. And she was hustling baseball cards as her side hustle. So she's like, guys, don't break anything. Don't drown in the pool. and that was it, That's
basically,
And it really took a village. And it did.
That's crazy.
And that's, we just grew up, and we just didn't know. That's just us. Like, we didn't know what we did or didn't have. We just, had community. I knew I wasn't going to piss off anybody's parent. And I think that was the beautiful thing, is that parents were involved all over the place. Single moms, single dads. Everybody just kind of took care. I love that fact, but being here in Omaha is a little bit different for me. And there's just not the community isn't there, and that's what we try to create in our businesses is community, bring it back. And that's we had talked about some of my buddies who I played football with in college who were like, been on me for like 10 years. Open up in North Omaha. I'm like, I'm trying to figure something out, you know. And then we were looking at the gym, and then it fell through, and I was pissed because I finally found a building I could afford. I'm a cheap ass, so I'm very frugal. And then I was like, I told Nick, I don't want to give up on this, but trying to find a building. Then you came in. I had that conversation where it happened like 2 days before you came in the door. Yeah, and I'm like, there we go. And then we started talking about the same guys, and we all know. And he'd actually brought one of the guys I played football with in college, Golden, to church that I missed. That was a different story. Yeah. It's just, I'm like, all right.
That you knew him. You knew Golden?
Yeah.
Golden coached with me.
That's crazy.
Golden and I went to Wayne State together.
Yep.
So, all the same people, you know. So
that's crazy.
And that's where I'm like, because I always say, Lord knows I'm a C student, so he's got to make it real clear. All right, I got it. So, well, this is awesome, guys. I mean, so how can we help? Are you guys going to do any sort of crowdfunding or any sort of like donations for your down payment, or do you guys have plans for that kind of stuff, or no yet? Or
so if you go to the website have a donate tab on there as well. It'll be an email that you can reach out to whomever you reach out to. If it's bigger donations, you want to talk about tax write-off things and things like that. But prayers are welcome to as well. Yeah. Absolutely. That's my biggest thing with this. You know, I've never really fundraised money before. I used to be the guy that used to say before I knew who I was in Christ that, I want to do this, but how am I going to do it? I don't got no money. I'm not going to ask nobody for this. And it was pride. It was just nothing but pride to think I can do it by myself. And it was ignorant to think that I could do anything by myself. So I never want to put that on people or pressure. So it's like, whatever. If it's prayers, if it's money, whatever that it can be, equipment, we're absolutely open to it.
That's it.
But the thing about it also, Tim, like, you've already been helping us out a lot.
Yeah.
When I walk into your office, you've been giving me game, you know what I mean? Yeah. Talk to me about it. BK come over here, you talk to him about it. But just the conversation you and I had, I call him every single day when I leave you. Right? And I tell him, don't I? Everything you say, you know? And so, I mean, you're already pouring a lot, you know, into us, man. So I just want to say, you know, we appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Because you already have your business established and you're moving forward and you're growing, right? And a lot of people, with their pride, they don't want to help other people out. That's like when I met you, I was like, man, he's different. You know?
That's weird. It's weird that it feels like that when people do it right, the right way, because you're not used to it.
I just walk in your shop and I'm here an hour and a half with you, and you just go, I'm like, geez, he's giving me all this knowledge. Like,
that's the truest thing you said. Tim is different for sure.
My wife says I'm something else. I'm like,
something else. I like it.
I'm something else. Some people are something. I'm something else. You know, and I think that's, and I had this expression we came up with a couple of years ago. It's like, I don't care where you've been, what you've done. I just care about where you're going and if I can be part of it. And if it's someplace positive, let's go. And for me, it's I care way more about the legacy we leave. What do my great grandkids get told about me?
Right.
That and it makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up. Just thinking about it, because I don't care about monetary shit. Right. I've had the same jacket for 9 years. The only time I get new clothes is when she buys them for me.
Right.
So I don't look unfashionable.
Same way.
And I just, none of it means anything. Right. I want what do people say about us? What do other people say about us? I mean, and that's the only thing that matters. And so I want to see, and this is literally me. This is no bullshit. This is no smoke and mirrors. And everybody's mad will say this. I want everybody to come on.
Come on.
100%. I don't care where you come from. I don't care what doors you walk through on a Sunday. I don't care where you grew up. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what sex you are. I don't care what orientation is. None of that matters to me. You know, can I help you? And that's it. I mean, I really don't. I mean, I'm getting a little too old to help people push cars up streets when they're broke down, because, you know, this is all for a show.
It's okay. I'll do it. I'm still young.
Yeah, sure. She's younger than me. 6 months. But, you know, and that for me is the thing. And when you came and brought that, I'm like, here's a guy these are guys taking jumps. You got to do something, doing it for the community and doing it for God. I'm like, I got to be part of this. Like, I just feel honored that I get to be part of it, you know? So we'll be sharing the information when we do this podcast. It'll be shared on Iron Heaven. It'll be at Rexius Nutrition. My page, I think I had, I don't know, like 50,000 visitors or just one site. And there's a lot of people that follow me. Hey, listen, all you entrepreneurs, all you people who got some money, I know you follow me. Donate to this cause. This is huge. There's a lot of people here that want to see the same thing that we all want to see. And I don't think it's going to take terribly long to raise the money you guys need to raise. And you know, I think it's awesome. And I know people have been bringing this up. Like, I'm telling you, it's been 10 years. People have been, and it's just never worked out for me to put something up north ever. And I'm like, listen, I want to encompass the whole, whole community, because this is our home. This is where our kids live and growing up, and this will always be home. I mean, I wish it was warmer. Other than that, you know, it's I think, you know, if you guys are seeing this podcast, we're going to put it in the in the caption all the links for these guys' websites, everything. Reach out, help, donate time, donate money if you got it, donate whatever. I say this is for our community, this is for our kids. And I think anybody who's a parent out there understands. You just want your kids to have opportunity, to be happy. You want them to have faith. You want them to have faith. You want equal footing. You want them to be able to be the best version of themselves and have it easier than we did. And I think everybody who's a parent wants the same exact thing for the most part. So I mean, here's your chance to give back to the community. And I just want to thank you guys so much for coming on.
Absolutely.
You guys got me all jacked up right now. I'm so pumped up. I got mad respect for both of you guys.
Thanks so much, man. Appreciate it.
God is so good. Man, I mean, bring all these people together, and it's just going to do something amazing. I can't wait. I mean, a year from now, I want to have you guys back on, and I want to tell the story.
The whole thing.
Now and then, it's going to be phenomenal, and it's going to be goosebumps.
Yeah, I think next time you guys come on, we're gonna have to sit here and figure out how to fix the Nebraska Huskers football program.
Yeah, we can do that too.
That's a whole other podcast.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying we might just get like a now and never 3.1 or so. Like we'll just add a digit. We'll just oh my god, we got to figure this thing out.
Hey, listen, they're letting fans come to the spring game.
Yes,
should be something. Exciting.
It'll be good.
Big Ten's allowing people guests. I gotta watch football.
But do we? Are we? We're gonna go to this. Are we gonna be happy when we go to spring game?
Well, I think everybody. Since the pandemic started,
fair enough.
All Chad and I talked about was, all right, man, just let me have church and football.
Yeah.
I just need those two things. If I got those, I'm good.
Yeah, totally.
I'm good.
Totally.
I get my competition. I get my savior. I'm good. I don't mind social distancing in the grocery store. I get my personal bubble. Doesn't bother me. Man, I gotta watch some football.
For sure.
So the family 8 and 6 kids. Yeah, my kids get a really good view of the whole stadium from the way top. It's the only place you can find 8 seats. I said, you guys get a view of everybody. Anybody can go down.
True.
How many people get 8 seats together on the top row?
In the nosebleed.
Yeah, the nosebleed. We're balling on the budget. Awesome. All right, well, thank you guys so much.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Yes, absolutely. Yes.